I played the demo of a simulation game called That Dragon Cancer, and was very interested to see how the finished product turned out. Being the first big release for 2016 games, Ryan Green's gorgeous interactive nonfiction has released on Steam. In result, the interactive storybook has its flaws, but manages to deliver on its strongest aspects. The story is loosely based around the developer's son Joel, who's been diagnosed with cancer. The whole narrative focuses on who Joel was, the struggle the family goes through trying to save their child's life, mixed in with some of the brighter moments they had together. Now, if you saw my interview with the developers almost a year ago, you would already know how this ends. Yet, regardless of how much you already know about the Greens, the brief ride is still effective with not only producing some tear-jerking emotions, but also controlling them. This game does a tremendous job at balancing out the doom and gloom with some cheerful moments, wonderful orchestra, and wacky imagination. Props to Ryan for having the courage to level out the Saber in such a devastating true story, as he could have easily went all on the negative. Because of this, the storytelling manages to keep a strong imaginative flow while staying true to the source, for the most part. If there's one big complaint I have for the narrative, it's the inconsistency. The main plot points are animated with some beautiful polygon visuals and connecting well with what the current scenario is going over. That isn't the case with these audio files that play from going into a specific spot, rather than being a part of the visual presentation. While it's great to learn more about the Greens, it feels disconnected from the main plot when you have to stop and listen before continuing the actual story. They feel like semi-mandatory side missions with intriguing information that's hidden and cut off from the main road. There could be a reason behind it, but you just get taken out of the breathtaking world by doing so. It would be incredibly easy to skip if what you're listening to wasn't interesting. When the audio is at its worst, dialogue repeats multiple times in certain scenes in the profound adventure, which also breaks the immersion you would otherwise be getting. It doesn't help that the controls aren't excellent, having you move a certain amount of yards out of clicking on a direction, despite possibly missing the radius of an actual story bit pickup. The gameplay is a traditional walking simulator, but with creative minigames and non-skippable sequences. There's nothing else to say really, there's no unique game element, you're just given a variety in what you already have. From the wacky minigames that tie well into the story, to the imaginative references in the situation the family goes through. I will say though, for talk about the game being too long, I actually feel the other way around. Not that I want to see more of the suffering, but for $15 you can get through this in an hour and a half. I feel like there's another story branch, not entirely focusing on the crisis, that could have been added in, but who knows. What I do know is that Ryan Green's That Dragon Cancer is terribly flawed on the controls and inconsistent pacing, but you will feel a powerful impact from experiencing the storybook. For this, That Dragon Cancer may not be one of the best narrative-driven games, but still a pretty good one. Also, part of the game's sales is actually transferred to cancer research, and that's a plus.